Hello everyone, welcome to this video on embedding a dashboard in Vue.js with Node.js. In this tutorial, I will show you how to create an application from scratch, configure, and run it using Visual Studio Code. This integration provides a seamless experience for accessing and gaining real-time insights. It helps manage data and visualizations in a centralized environment, simplifying data handling, reducing the complexity of analysis, and improving business performance. I've provided a link to the documentation, which includes a sample application for your reference. Let's get started. I've already installed Node.js on my machine to create a Vue.js application using Visual Studio Code. Next, I create a folder for the application and navigate to it. Then, I create a folder, Node.js. I run this command to create a Vue.js application, containing all the necessary files and dependencies. Next, I need to add an embed.config.json file to configure embedding parameters, authentication, user context, and customization for secure embedding of a dashboard. In the dashboard server, I click Settings. Select Embed. Click Enable Embed Authentication. And click Download. A dialog box will open. I choose the Supply Chain category and Supply Chain Performance Dashboard. Next, I download the JSON file and add it to the Node.js folder. I open the application root folder in Visual Studio Code. I open Node.js folder and create a JS file named embed.js. I add an API that sets up an Express server with course, handles HTTP and HTTPS requests, parses URLs, manages file system operations, and performs cryptographic functions. I add course to enable cross-origin resource sharing for all incoming requests and express.json to parse incoming requests with JSON payloads. I set the port number for the server to listen. Next, add code to read and parse the configuration from embed.config.json. Then, I add an endpoint that generates a signed embed authorization URL using user and timestamp data, sends a GET request to the dashboard server, and returns the server's response to the client. I add the getSignatureURL function, which generates a base64 encoded HMAC SHA-256 signature from a query string using a secret key, and the getDetails root, which reads and returns the contents of embed.config.json to the client. Next, I add app.listen with the port number so the server can run. I create a new file named package.json. I copy the code from the documentation and add it. This is essential to install the packages listed in the dependencies section. Next, I open the app.vue in the src folder of the Vue.js project. I copy the code from the documentation and replace it. This Vue component loads and embeds a bold BI dashboard using configuration fetched from a Node.js backend and displays an error modal if the configuration file is missing or the fetch fails. I open the package.json file. I copy the code from the documentation and replace it. This package.json sets up the Vue project with bold BI embedding support using jQuery and essential build, lint, and Babel tools for development and production. I change the bold BI embedded SDK to my version for compatibility. Now, everything is ready to render the dashboard. I open the Node.js root folder in the command prompt and run this command. This installs all the required dependencies for the application. Then I run node embed.js to start the backend server that provides configuration and authorization for the app. On a successful run, do not close or shut down this command prompt because the host URL will depend on it to render the dashboard. I open the Vue.js in the command prompt and run this command. This installs all the required dependencies for the application. Then, I run this command to build and run the application. On successful compilation, I copy the local URL and run it on my default browser. You'll see the supply chain performance dashboard rendered. If you want to open the dashboard in design mode, change the view mode to design and load dashboard to load designer in the app.view. The application will automatically update, and you'll see the dashboard load in design mode. In this video, I've shown you how to embed a dashboard in Vue.js with Node.js in Bold BI. If you found this video helpful, click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.